Welcome to School Report, a glimpse into the classrooms of St. Lucie County Public Schools. School Report provides the opportunity to share with the community academic and extracurricular activities of students in our schools. And now, here is School Report.
We have a very brief but meaningful presentation that we'd like to bring you. Again, my name is Mrs. Wilkie. I am the very proud principal of Lawnwood Elementary School, and my team and I are extremely excited and overwhelmed by your response this morning. Thank you so much for partnering with us in education for your children. And I hope tomorrow night at our curriculum night at 5:30 in this very room, I see this kind of crowd. And then you'll have an opportunity to go to classrooms again and learn more about what your children are doing in school each day so that we can continue our partnership. Now, today is about male role models, and that's very important. It is very meaningful to us today that dads came and are showing their support for their children. At Lawnwood, we have a message for our kids. You will have go to college and have a career. We are college-bound leopards, and they need you, dads, to make sure that that happens and that message continues to carry. I'd like to just do a little shout out to my team of folks in the back who made this possible this morning. And those are all the ladies and gentlemen in the back who are taking, they went out and made sure that there were donuts, and they're taking your photo, and they decorated the room. So if we can please show them a little love and appreciation. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to invite one of my teacher leaders up to introduce our very special guest speaker. If I can please have Miss Janet Brenner come on up.
She's a lot taller than I am. Hello. Our speaker this morning is someone I am proud to know and even luckier to have as a neighbor, where he lives with his beautiful wife, Heather, and two adorable boys. He regularly gives of his time generously, serving on many committees and volunteering. Additionally, since 2008, he has been St. Lucie County's Clerk of the Circuit Court. Please help me to welcome Joe Smith.
Good morning. Oh, come on. So if I weren't a politician, I would want to be a school teacher. And the reason I want to be a school teacher is because I always love when the young boys and girls always have that really robust, like, good morning, Mr. Smith. So let's try that again. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. That's what I like. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. This is really important. It is so important that you are here. I am Joe Smith, and thank you, Janet, and thank you, Ms. Wilkie, and thank you to all the parents and professionals of Lawnwood Elementary who invited me to come out and speak to you today, as well as thank you to the boys and girls who are here. The reason I'm here today is to talk about Dads Take Your Child to School Day. So you may be wondering, why is this a thing? Well, it's a really simple answer to that. It's a thing because the science says it's a thing. And what do you mean when I say science? Well, what I mean is that research and data show that fathers, grandfathers, male role models, uncles, cousins who have an active interest in their child's life will lead those children to greater opportunities and outcomes. So that means if you are in this room today, you can give yourself a round of applause because you're helping the person you brought with you to be more successful in their life than if you weren't in this room today and you're a male role model. How amazing is that? So the reason that we're here, and I see a lot of you in the room, I see a lot of friends in the room, and I'm a new dad. I have a 4-year-old son and an almost 2-year-old son. But I thought about, like, why would they ask me to speak today? And I thought to myself that I have been an uncle for 16 plus years at this point, and I have a nephew who is quite older. And with that nephew, he also went to Lawnwood Elementary as I did. I was there for those events that they had when they had parent-teacher night. I was there for curriculum night. His dad couldn't get off of work, so I showed up with a bag in a hand for a field trip or two over the years because I knew it was important because I had that opportunity for my mom and my dad to come and support me in events like that. And now, listen, I am not perfect. I don't want you to think that, oh, well, that Joe Smith, he thinks he knows everything, because I don't. But I will tell you that I was blessed to have my parents involved in my life from day one. And I can tell you that the nice things that Janet said about me and the nice things that I've been able to do on behalf of the people of St. Lucie County for the last 12 years, I believe there's obviously something connected to that, because they were there for me, so I can be there for others. So for the young boys and girls in the room today who have your brother, your uncle, your cousin, and if you come from a family of just females, that's okay too. The most important part is you make sure that you have those role models, those encouraging people who are telling you, you can do it. I believe in you. I love you. I care. Those types of words have such a positive influence in your life. I'll tell you a quick story about me being a new dad, and you don't know how the influence, because it goes both ways, you don't know the influence of how having young people near you affects you. So as some of you know, I just had a campaign that I was going through, and campaigns are pretty hard. And you get home and you're kind of exhausted and you're beat up and you're trying to just make it through the day, and you're happy to see your kids again and love on them and everything else, and you think you're doing a good job of not showing your emotion. Well, my son David came up to me one day and said, "Dad, what's wrong?" And I said, What do you mean, what's wrong, David? He's like, "Well, usually you sit around the house like this." And he said, "But right now you're looking like this." And I said, wow, like that was quite perceptive of him to recognize that campaigns are hard. And I was there and I was in the moment, but I wasn't really in the moment. So for fathers and for those of you who are the role models in your kids' lives, just remember that it's not just what you say, it's not just how you say it, but it's also if you mean it. So take a moment when, I know work is hard, I know it's stressful when you're out at Maverick Boats, or it's stressful when you're at the post office, or it's stressful when you're at the school next door and you're teaching your other people's kids all day. But just remember when you get home that your child is going to be looking for you to be that superhero that they believe you are. And we can't let them down. And so being here today is one of those great moments and those great opportunities where you get to be that superhero, that super dad, that super uncle, that super cousin, that super brother. Because big brothers and little brothers, I'm watching the two of my two together. I'm the youngest of four. I have two older brothers and an older sister. And I now look at my kids through the lens that my parents looked at us through. And it's almost like I get to relive my own childhood by watching the comments or watching the relationship between those families. So what you have for yourselves here today is an important opportunity to support your child by also supporting your teacher, supporting your school, which you all, by being here, are doing. You believe in high-quality education. You believe that education remains a top priority. And as Ms. Wilkie said, she moved on me. As Ms. Wilkie said, she said that here we are going to be collegiate leopards. We're going to move all the way to college. And remember back in the days they talked about, are you going to college? Well, let me just remind you of one little thing that happened in my home when I was a young person. The question wasn't, are you? The question was, where are you going to college? And just that one little change sets up an expectation. It says to your kids, there's no question about whether you're going or not. The question is, are you going Ivy League or are you going, state school? And state schools are cool. I'm a UCF grad. Go Knights. So the fact is that you have this opportunity to mold, to shape, to form these young people, these young men, these young women, and to make them the leaders of tomorrow. Because I won't be clerk forever. Miss Wilkie won't be principal forever. I see there are some doctors in the house. All those doctors at some point are going to retire. So we need young people who are going to take up that mantle and take up that opportunity and take up those jobs and start to do, and teachers as well, do those types of responsibilities. So this all depends on you as the adults. And real quickly, for the kids in the room, you have a responsibility too. Your responsibility is to make sure that your father, your mother, your role model are informed about what you're doing. So I was on the stage now, 30 years ago, singing On Top of Spaghetti. And I'm glad there's no video of that. But the fact remains is I remember that moment because I remember looking out in the audience and I remember seeing my parents there, listening to me sing out of tune, listening to me sing the wrong words, and have a great time doing it. So as a young person, you've got to let them know when these things are happening because oftentimes parents don't know if you don't tell them. And you have a responsibility to keep them engaged too. So I'm holding both sides accountable. Fathers and mothers, you've got to be there and be present. Granddads and grandmas, you've got to be there and ask about it. Like, when is Grandparent Day? When is the next lunch where I can come to the school and be part of my kid's life? My mom was a teacher just down the street at Dan McCarty for many years. And one thing I didn't know what she had to go through to get off work so that she could be there for a Student of the Month luncheon, or she could be there for an appreciation luncheon for me. But now that I'm a parent, I get it, and I'm even more grateful for what she did in my life. So you have those opportunities. So if you tell them, I guarantee you, kids, your parents will move heaven and earth. Your role models will move heaven and earth to be there for you if you let them know. So you let them know, and then our responsibility as the grown-ups is to do everything we can to be there. So there's a pledge for Dads Take Your Child to School Day, and I want to just read it real briefly to you. So the pledge is, as a father, stepfather, grandfather, uncle, brother, foster father, or significant male role model, I pledge to support my child's teacher in school in providing a high-quality education and ensuring that education remains a priority in my household. I will set high expectations for my child's educational success. I will stay informed about my child's academic and behavioral progress. I will volunteer at my child's school this school year whenever it is possible. And I will encourage my child to do his or her best every day. Does that seem difficult? Do you think we can do that? I don't know. Let me think about that again. Does that sound difficult? Do you think we can do that? All right, well then, with that, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you today. I wish you all a wonderful day. It's so great to see the kids in this room and the interaction. This is a live school, and I can tell. And you guys are going to have a really amazing school year. So God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was definitely inspirational. Please, let's really thank Mr. Smith again. And I know I'm going to put my media specialist on a mission, and look through some yearbook and see see what we can find, Mr. Smith. I'll send you a card, a little gift for you. And I know we have some other alumni in the room as well. Thank you again for your attention. At this time, I would say if you have not been able to grab your donut, this is a good time. If you haven't had your photo, we will make arrangements for somebody to be able to stay to do that. If you haven't gone to the media center to sign in and sign your pledge, please do that. And then please bring your children to their classrooms so we can start our day. Thank you again so much.